Hello, greetings to all my friends, followers worldwide. Welcome once again today. I am Ayogweze Chine, also known as the Faithful Widow. Today, I am here to discuss a very important topic. A very important topic is an answer to a question someone asked. Somebody asked, does how long one grieve determine how much he or she loved the dead spouse? I repeat the question. She said, does how long a widower grieve over a loved spouse determines how he or she loved him or her? That was her question. And the answer is no. Grieving should not be used as a measure to determine how one loved his or her late spouse. I want to start by saying that the death of a husband or wife, it is an emotionally devastating event. Losing a husband is an emotionally devastating event. And the loss, the stress of the loss is above every or any other loss one can experience in life. But nevertheless, it should not be used to measure how one loved he or her late spouse. Why am I saying so? We are different individuals, and there is something we call individual difference. Individual difference simply says you are different from me and I'm different from you. The way each person has, absorption to shock or feelings is different from another. Some people has the tendency to absorb shock very easily. Like when you see something that happen, you'll be feeling, this person will not survive it. This person will die. Or this person was going to, how can he or she cope? But at the long run, you find out that they even absorb shock or they absorb trauma easily. Even though you that is watching from afar will be saying that, I don't think this person will cope. But you find out you see the person coping in a way that you never even expected. That is why I had to make mention of individual difference. That I did not stay inside, or another person did not stay inside, or lock him or herself inside because he lost a spouse for years, 2 years, 3 years, does not mean he or she did not love the person. So most people that stays indoor, I want to say that most people that stays indoor, most of the time that mourn or grieve for a long time, a year, 2 years, the person is still feeling as if the husband died today. Most people are not doing it out of love. Yes. Most people are doing it out of regrets. Yes. They are doing it out of regrets because some of them when they remember maybe how they were living with their spouse, or the what actually transpired before the spouse died, what they should have done if it was a situation that they could have averted, but maybe they did not do what they are supposed to do. They now begin to feel regret, and each time the person remembers it, the person feel, you know how it is when you feel regret in you. This thing, I would have done this thing, had it been I did this thing wouldn't have happened. No, that is just the feeling. And the person, when he or she remembers, the person begins to cry again or weep again. And I say that the people will now say that he really loves his or her wife or his or her spouse, so that is why the person is still grieving. It's not true. Most of the grief you see that lasts for a long time does not come out of love for the late spouse. Because I believe if you truly love the spouse that died, you should look for a way to move on with your life. You should look for a way to continue where he or she stopped. You should look for a way to make him or her proud wherever they are. You should continue with the good legacy or the good things you learned from him or her. You should not live your life that you are mourning somebody who has, died. You have to mourn, you're a human being, you have to grieve. But grieving for a long time does not determine that, doesn't show that you really love your late spouse. Yes, most people that stays long do that out of regret. There are two things that I can say that causes, long lasting grief. One is the condition of your spouse, that is the cause of death, how your spouse died. Yes, how your spouse died. For example, now, assuming your spouse was sick, you did what you're supposed to, you took him or her to the hospital, did everything the doctor said, run tests, bought the medication, they gave prescription, you bought the medication, you made sure he or she is being taken good care of. Nothing was lacking, nothing they say you should do that you did not do. And at the end, your spouse died. You will grieve, you will weep, you feel the trauma, but you won't feel it much that when you did not do anything, when you were just watching and the person died. And if your spouse was not sick, the only thing, another thing that will make you grieve love is when your spouse was not sick. If he was not sick or she was not sick when they died, they just died all of a sudden. Those that died of accidents and gunshots, or all the sorts of, or they were killed, maybe they were poisoned and all that. The person was not sick. That's once anytime you remember it, you just feel like you should turn the hand of the clock. Yes, that is, you grieve each time you remember it. Another thing, secondly, another point that will make you like someone's to grieve for a long time is when your spouse die, more especially women, that is widows, they are more vulnerable to this one. When your spouse die, all of a sudden his family turned against you. They begin to, treat you bad, treat your children bad, maybe because your children are so tender, they've not known anything, or maybe because you don't have a male child, they begin to treat you bad. They begin to maybe even drag your husband's property with you. They begin to, those things that they don't used to do or they don't have rights over when your husband was alive. They begin to contend with you to have that. Some people may even come and pursue their brother's wife and his children out of the man's house, and the children and the woman, the widow, will be roaming about, nowhere, no roof over their head. In such situation, the woman will grieve for a long time, because those attitude, those maltreatments she is getting from her in-laws, who are supposed to be taking care of her and her children, will make her to grieve the more, and will make her to feel the death of her husband the more. So that grief actually lasts for a long time, or that someone grieve for long time, yet the person is grieving because he lost his or her spouse, does not determine how the person loved the dead spouse. Why I'm saying this is that I'm sure, I am so sure of what I'm saying, because I know some people who, when their spouse was alive, they were not living in good terms with the person. They were not in good terms. They don't live peacefully in their house. They fight, they quarrel. So some women will even cook and refuse to give to their husband. And when the person die, the person will still grieve. When the man eventually dies, maybe out of hunger or out of carelessness, that he was not taking good care of, the woman will still grieve. You will see the person will still be giving sometimes to mourn, some months to mourn her husband. Even the person will still sew the white that we used to wear, like in my own locality, we wear white for 6 months because you are mourning your husband. Some people will still sew the white and be wearing it, and they were not in good terms. They were fighting, quarreling, even depriving the husband most of his rights in the family. But the person will still grieve when the man dies. So grief does not actually show how much you love your spouse. It doesn't show how much you love your spouse. I'm not here to teach you what shows how much you love yourself, because I am not a relationship therapist. I'm not here to advise about love, but I'm here to talk to you about widows. This particular the topic I'm discussing now is a question asked by one of my followers. So how long one grieve does not really determine how much he or she loved their dead spouse. So I hope I've been able to teach you about this topic. I also urge you to share, like my video. Once you come across my video, please like, share, comment on it, and invite your friends to my page. Invite your friends to my page, because together we will grow. And I also have a YouTube channel that when you miss some videos, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch them and watch my videos there. Thank you for being part of my growth. Thank you for being there. Let us grow together. Help us to grow. And God bless you for being our follower, for being a fan. God bless you so much. Bye.